Every sunrise is an invitation to recommit to the person you're becoming, and the most powerful way to seize that invitation is through the quiet dialogue you have with yourself. Those words shape the lens through which you see the world, color the emotions you bring to each challenge, and prime the actions that ultimately sculpt your destiny. Imagine waking each morning and whispering a handful of truths so compelling that they become the invisible current carrying you forward. The first truth is that you are the author of today's story. Yesterday may have penned some chapters in ink you didn't choose, but the blank page before you is entirely yours. Remind yourself that the plot twists, the tone, the pacing, everything that happens next can be influenced by your decisions. Ownership is freedom. The moment you claim responsibility for your attitude and your effort, you become the creative force rather than a passive character. When you believe the pen is in your hand, hesitation gives way to action. Excuses dissolve into resourcefulness, and fear transforms into curiosity about what you can craft next. As you step into the day, affirm that your potential is elastic, stretching well beyond yesterday's perceived limits. Human capability is not a static measurement. It is a horizon that retreats every time you chase it. Neuroscientists call it neuroplasticity. Athletes call it progressive overload. Entrepreneurs call it scaling. Whatever the label, the principle is the same. Growth is available. When you remind yourself that your talents, skills, and resilience can expand with deliberate practice, you invite experimentation instead of perfectionism. Suddenly, a mistake isn't a verdict on your worth. It's merely data, feedback you can use to adjust your approach. Hold this conviction long enough, and you'll find yourself volunteering for challenges that once intimidated you, embracing roles that once felt out of reach, and discovering that the edges of your comfort zone are merely the frontiers of new strength. Tell yourself that your energy is precious currency and you will invest it wisely. Too often we squander vitality on opinions that don't matter, on news cycles designed to agitate, on regrets that cannot be edited. When you recognize energy as finite and invaluable, you become discerning about what earns your focus. You'll notice the subtle drain of gossip and comparison, and you'll redirect that power toward pursuits that amplify your spirit. Learning a new skill, nourishing a relationship, moving your body, building your vision. This intentional allocation turns an ordinary 24 hours into a portfolio of high-yield experiences, compounding joy and momentum over time. Remind yourself that gratitude is not a reaction to fortune, but a muscle that can be flexed in any circumstance. By scanning the present moment for what is working, what is beautiful, what is possible, you train your mind to see resources where others see scarcity. Gratitude doesn't deny hardship, it simply refuses to grant hardship the authority to define reality. When you savor the first sip of water, the warmth of sunlight on your face, the message from a friend who believes in you, you create microbursts of optimism that buffer stress, boost immunity, and sharpen creativity. Day after day, this habit builds an inner climate where hope thrives and solutions blossom. Tell yourself that obstacles are invitations in disguise. Life will place barriers on the path, not as punishment, but as proof of how badly you want the destination. Every setback can serve as a forge, heating and hammering raw potential into refined strength. When traffic makes you late, perhaps patience is being polished. When a proposal is rejected, perhaps resilience is being reinforced. When a workout feels impossible, perhaps discipline is being deepened. By reframing obstacles as training grounds, you transform frustration into focus and misfortune into mastery. Over time, you become the person who runs toward the hill rather than around it, knowing that the view from the summit is reserved for those willing to climb. Assure yourself that comparison is the thief of joy and the assassin of progress. The world offers an infinite buffet of highlight reels, but your life is lived in real time. with real sweat and real setbacks that rarely make the filtered feed. Each time you measure your chapter 2 against someone else's chapter 20, you discount the unseen hours that built their excellence. And you overlook the raw material of greatness within your own journey. When you feel the pull of comparison pivot to admiration, let their success remind you what is possible rather than what is missing. Then return your gaze to your own lane, asking, how can I be 1% better than yesterday? That incremental mindset, sustained, eclipses any burst of envy. Tell yourself that kindness is a form of power, not weakness. A word of encouragement can reroute someone's entire day. A gesture of patience can de-escalate conflict. A sincere compliment can reignite dormant confidence. When you deliberately infuse your environment with kindness, you become a catalyst for positive feedback loops. People feel seen, they respond with cooperation, and the collective mood rises. Kindness also rebounds internally. Acts of generosity trigger the release of serotonin and oxytocin, chemicals that buffer anxiety and promote well-being. By choosing kindness, you don't merely decorate the world. You engineer a context where your own growth is supported by reciprocal goodwill. Remind yourself that discipline is freedom in disguise. While impulsive choices feel liberating in the moment, they often mortgage tomorrow's peace. Discipline, on the other hand, can look restrictive. Waking early, budgeting, saying no to distractions. But those structures create spaciousness for what truly matters. When you keep promises to yourself, you stack evidence that you are reliable, and self-trust becomes the launch pad for audacious goals. Each disciplined act is a vote for the identity you're crafting, the runner, the writer, the entrepreneur, the compassionate parent. Over time, those votes accumulate into unshakable character, and the world responds to the clarity of someone who knows who they are. Tell yourself that your voice matters, and you will use it. Whether you're speaking in a meeting, writing a post, or comforting a friend, your perspective is an unrepeatable blend of experiences, insights, and values. Silence in the face of ideas or injustices that stir your soul is a quiet resignation of influence. When you affirm that your words carry weight, you approach conversations with intention. You listen deeply so your responses are meaningful, and you contribute solutions rather than merely pointing out problems. Your voice can be the spark that ignites collaboration, the reassurance that steadies someone's nerves, or the question that reframes an entire strategy. Finally, remind yourself every day that today is not a rehearsal. It is the arena where legacy is forged. It's tempting to postpone dreams until conditions feel perfect, but perfection is a mirage that recedes with every step. The only guaranteed opportunity to move closer to your vision is the moment unfolding right now. When you internalize the finiteness of time, procrastination loses its grip. You send the message, make the call, write the page, take the class, apologize, forgive, begin. The accumulation of these seemingly small actions, performed consistently, constructs a life that feels purposeful rather than perfunctory. Weaving these 10 truths into your daily self-talk is not a one-time motivational surge. It is a ritual of alignment. Some mornings the words will flow effortlessly, buoyed by enthusiasm and clear skies. Other mornings they will feel mechanical, recited through fatigue or frustration. Speak them anyway. The power of repetition lies not in novelty, but in neural reinforcement. Each affirmation is a thread, and with every repetition you braid those threads into a rope strong enough to pull you through doubt, distraction, and difficulty. Picture yourself 90 days from now. You've claimed authorship of each day's story, stretched your potential through deliberate challenges, guarded your energy like treasure, flexed gratitude in the mundane, reframed obstacles into training, abandoned comparison for incremental progress, wielded kindness as influence, practiced discipline as liberation, voiced your perspective with courage, and seized each day as the only stage that mattered. Imagine how that version of you stands taller, breathes deeper, and radiates a calm confidence that inspires others to level up. That transformation is not reserved for the lucky or the elite. It is reserved for the consistent, for those willing to remind themselves of who they truly are and who they are becoming. So tomorrow morning, before the world's noise infiltrates your mind, speak these truths aloud or in the quiet of your thoughts. Let them be the compass that directs your focus, the fuel that powers your actions, and the shield that deflects negativity. As days stack into weeks and weeks into months, you'll notice subtle shifts, an extra rep in the gym, a bolder idea in the meeting, a softer response in conflict, a quicker recovery from setback. Those shifts will coalesce into milestones. The project launched, the relationship healed, the habit mastered. And one day, perhaps sooner than you expect, someone will look at your life and ask for your secret. You'll smile, remembering the simple sentences you whispered to yourself each dawn, and you'll realize the secret was never hidden. It was spoken daily into existence. The world does not need another perfect person. It needs individuals who are unapologetically in motion, who stumble forward, who learn out loud, who greet each sunrise with words that galvanize their spirit. Be that person. Tell yourself the truths that call forth your courage, and then let your actions echo those truths louder than any speech. In doing so, you become a living invitation for others to do the same, and together, day by day, we elevate what is possible for us all.